Nerds, to another episode of the Nerd Rundown Podcast, where we cover the latest in the nerd world of movies, TV, and more. I'm one of your hosts today, Darren Stemple, and as always, my co-pilot is Eric Hare.
Greetings, fellow humans.
And with us today is Mr. Contrarian himself, Big Morg 3000, Morgan Santo.
Hello.
And back by popular demand is Jason Sparks. Welcome back, Jason.
Thanks.
Dynamite.
Dynamite drop in, Marty. He's still waking up over there.
It's already going good. All right.
This is how we're starting today. We want to give a huge thank you, especially during Thanksgiving week. Huge thank you to everyone for watching and listening in. You can find us on social media and YouTube at the Nerd Rundown, and you can listen to our podcast on all the major podcast services. As always, we have a fantastic show for you today. We'll cover the latest on a small rundown. We'll open up the NRDbox to answer some nerdy shit, and then join us on our new weekly show, the Nerd Rundown Presents, where we will play a really fun game I've got planned for everybody. So looking forward to that. But first on the rundown, we have a 5-minute prologue released for the upcoming Jurassic World Dominion movie. Really took us back in time to the Jurassic Age, where we it's the first time in this franchise where we've seen back then in real time, if that's what you call it. But you get to see, more accurate depictions of what dinosaurs may have looked like at that time. You see some hair on some dinosaurs, and you get to kind of see the birth or that's a weird way of saying it, because it's not the birth, it's the death of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which is the birth of another Tyrannosaurus Rex. But Eric, what did you think about the 5-minute prologue for Jurassic World?
I thought it looked pretty awesome. They did a really great job. I liked how they added the feathers and the hair on them like that, because that was a nice touch, and a lot of people were asking about that. They were like, how are they having those on there? And they had a really great reason for that, in that this is how they were back then. And the ones that we have in the world now, in the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, are not true dinosaurs. They're an amalgamation of what we created to make them. So they have this frog DNA in them, which keeps them from having the feathers, keeps them from having the hair and all that other stuff. So I like that they shared that kind of detail with people after they kind of showed it. Special effects just looked tremendous. I mean, this is how far we've come since 1994. When we got the first Jurassic Park, the special effects were just spectacular. They look really, really real. So that was pretty cool. I liked how they, the mosquito landing on there, and then you can kind of see the fireball kind of coming in the eyeball, I think, a little bit. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I didn't see that.
So yeah, it was kind of cool. But yeah, it was neat. It was really neat, and I'm excited. Is this the end of this series? Are we looking at the Jurassic World? Is this the have they said anything about this being the last of the Jurassic World series? Okay, so it's not a trilogy. At least that's what they're kind of going with.
It could be.
They'll keep making them until somebody tells them to stop. So
yeah, basically.
Until it stops making money.
I don't know where you really take it after this, now that the dinosaurs are in the real world with us.
Yeah.
As you see in the prologue, they're at a drive-in movie theater, and the Tyrannosaurus runs through and demolishes some things, and they've got some I'm sure it's Engine, the company that has been involved since the beginning, is hunting this Tyrannosaurus. What do you think, Morg? You watched it, right?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'll say it looks like that. I wasn't sure if it was Engine hunting them down. It almost looked like oddly like park rangers but they had like dinosaur patches. Like they were meant to hunt down these things. I will say I was shocked at how there were so many people that drive in that just did not hear that T-Rex coming. Like I get that couple was macking in the car, but they had no idea that thing was there. As everybody's screaming and running, but no, I'm excited for it. And I love all Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. I'm excited to take my kid to it. I know he's looking forward to it. We watched it. He was excited. It's funny when it opens up where you see that, and then it goes 65 million years later.
Yeah,
my wife, who I will not name, looks at me and goes, "So is that present day?" I just had to stare at her for a second. I was like, "Yes, it's supposed to be present day now." Just like, okay, I didn't know if it was like future. I was like, well, future from then, I guess. Yes.
It's actually like 2 weeks ago, but
just 5 million years later. Is that today?
In the opposite of that, when it said 65 million years later, my wife, who will not be named at this moment, said, "Was it really that long ago?" So, went into the spectrum to the other.
But no, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a fun movie.
Yeah, for sure. Jason?
Man, it's beautiful, right? I mean, that the whole intro, I mean, the majority of that 5 minutes is getting to watch them in their own natural existence, right? And that part was kind of something, like you said, that we haven't gotten to see before.
Mm-hmm.
But when he made it back to modern times and he showed up at that at the drive-in theater, I was just really hoping for like some sort of little callback to the original and have him just rip someone off a toilet. As soon as I come in, I was like, do it, please. I mean, he wrecked enough stuff, but that's all I wanted from that scene. So
yeah, totally.
Disappointed overall. Not looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
It's trash now.
It's gonna be terrible. I think it looks amazing. I can't wait for it. I can't wait to see them in the real world, how we adapt to that as a society and how they adapt as well. So we'll see. And I didn't see the fireball. I'll have to go back and see if I can see that again. But that Gigantosaurus is the one that beats the T-Rex
pretty quick too.
Pretty easily. So it'll be interesting to see if that dinosaur also makes a return later in the movie, and maybe we get the rematch or something.
Some more clone action.
Yeah, some.
Can't forget that. They're in clones.
Clone Wars, yeah. Next on the rundown, we have Blade Runner. Morgan, director Ridley Scott reveals a live-action TV series is in the works. Not a big fan of the original Blade Runner. I thought the second one was pretty good. I still love that world, and looking forward to seeing what this presents. But they have a 10-hour episode, 10-hour story arc, so they'll break it into 10 one-hour episodes. Eric, you're a bigger Blade Runner fan than I am. What do you think?
No, I'm not.
You're not a bigger one than me?
No, I didn't. I never liked the first one, and I think I liked the first one. No,
we're way off on that stuff.
Yeah. I haven't even seen the second one yet. So
right this down.
I just
Eric hates Blade Runner.
I don't. I thought it was boring as hell. Like I liked the world, but I thought the movie was boring as hell. So, which is weird because I love Harrison Ford and I love Rutger Hauer, so and Sean Young was super super hot back then. So lots of elements that would make it, and I love Ridley Scott, so lots of elements that would make that really something that I should enjoy, but I just was bored out of my mind with that movie. The visual's spectacular. There's definitely, and the whole premise to the movie is actually pretty cool. The whole replicant type thing. So, maybe it lends itself, maybe this is one of those circumstances where it lends itself to the smaller screen better. We'll see, and I don't know if Ridley's going to be directing any of the episodes or anything like that. That would be kind of cool. But even if he's just producing, I think he'll do a good job with it, just because
I think
he's
he is
Scott.
just producing.
So, yeah. So
he can't be bothered with this small time stuff like
right. Well, yeah. Well, he's got to do something, because the last duel did not turn out the way he had hoped, I don't think. And
but House of Gucci is getting
House of Gucci,
rave reviews. So
and my wife wants to see it, so I'll be seeing House of Gucci here pretty soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, so. I want to see it myself. So
yeah, I think it looks really good. So all in all, we'll see how it does on the small screen. I'll watch it. I'll at least watch the first episode or two and see how it is, and if it's interesting, I'll keep with it. But yeah. More.
Jason, are you, or let me move to Jason, because somebody I feel like is a big Blade Runner fan.
No.
Are you? Is it you?
No, I'm kind of
just gonna scrap this story and move on.
The aesthetics, that whole 80s cyberpunk feel is that's cool, but I kind of agree. I just think it was slow. I think it's something that can easily change for the series, and with all the success of rebooting 80s stuff right now. And then, even Stranger Things has that, it's not a reboot, but that's been incredibly successful. And it's a part of it is that, the nostalgia of the whole thing. So, I would guess that it's going to be better than the movies, and I'll watch it. As soon as it's out, and if it's bad, I'll stop. But more than likely, I think it's going to be pretty awesome.
Mark, do you like?
All right. Finally, you've been trying to get to the big Blade Runner fan, and it is not me, because I haven't seen it yet. So we probably should have just taken...
The first one sucks.
I was more excited when you messed up the show notes and said Ridley Scott was directing Blade, because I was like, wow, that's a complete 180 from what he said. But no, I don't really have an interest in it. I haven't watched the first Blade Runner. I actually saw more of the second. I don't know why. I kind of started in the middle and was just watching it. I'll watch them someday.
I think you need to have to watch the first one.
I'm not excited about this. I could care less.
Yeah, that second one is really visually one of the most beautiful movies ever shot. And that's, not only because as Ana de Armas in it, but the visuals in it are amazing. So,
well, Denny, it's Denny Villeneuve. So
Denny, good old Denny.
He's got a great, he's got a great eye, and he puts together a beautiful picture, in just about every instance, even in Sicario, not a beautiful movie, but by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a beautifully shot and well put together movie. So
for sure.
So I could see that.
Moving on from Blade Runner, WandaVision's Agatha All Along. So if you remember watching WandaVision, it was revealed that Agatha Harkness, who just got her own Disney Plus series announced, was the villain all along, or the one kind of pulling the strings all along, and had that great kind of Munsters inspired theme song at the end of, I think it was episode 8, maybe 7 to 8. But I'm going to move it to the musician on this. It got nominated for an Emmy. What do you think about the Agatha All Along theme song, Jason?
It's awesome. It does have pretty obviously the inspiration from the Monsters, and I think also the Addams Family. It has that sort of vibe. It's cool. I don't know. I think it's neat that when they actually have the actors and actresses from the shows doing the singing, and so Catherine Han, right? Is the one that, like Agnes, right? So she's the one that actually sings it. She does a great job. It does have just like a really fun feel to it. I don't particularly think that there's anything just incredible about the song. I mean, I think it fits the show, and it was, it was great, but I'm not going to put it on and listen to it in my car.
Right. Right. It's that, and that's kind of the question. Like, you got nominated for Emmy, great. Why? Like, what is it, because the show was so big or whatnot? But I don't know.
I think it's unique. I mean, obviously,
sure.
That's what
an original
inspiration, but yeah, I mean, it's not, nothing's completely unique. But I mean, I think for now, I don't think I've seen another show that has something that feels that way. So
sure,
I think that probably helps it get in there.
Yeah, and I like that point about it was Catherine Hahn who sang it as well. I like when they have the actor or actress perform it as well. Quick thoughts there on this one, Eric?
I remember when I watched the series, I enjoyed the song. I thought it was, I wouldn't say out of character for the show, but it was, it was a clever way to put that song in there. It's, kind of a clever way to tell the story, I guess, or whatever. So, but and I enjoyed the Munsters. It reminded me of my kind of, watching reruns and stuff of the Munsters and Addams Family and stuff like that when I was a kid. So, I think it's good. I don't know how many original songs there are in television each year, so for them to come up with this and get an Emmy nomination sounds right to me, because I mean, a lot of the stuff is just stuff they pulled from that's already out in the world, and they pull it into a show or whatever. So for them to have a full on musical number, and you know what, maybe Catherine Hahn gets this and she's on her first leg of the EGOT. Maybe she goes after, maybe she gets the EGOT after, she'll be one of the, she's only like 3 or 4 people that has the EGOT. So, maybe she's first leg. She gets the first leg of the EGOT. Morgan, how about you?
Yeah. I don't know. Like the song, I enjoyed it. Like, it was great when they reveal, and like, I like the way they did it, but I don't know. I guess I just don't get the Emmys and all that crap.
Here's the other songs that were nominated along with it.
Okay.
All Eyes on Me from Bo Burnham, Inside, which I love Bo Burnham, but that's not like a really big TV show. All I Know So Far from Pink. All I Know So Far, I never heard of it. Fight for You from Judas and the Black Messiah. Here I Am Singing My Way Home from Respect, which is the Aretha Franklin biopic, and Speak Now from One Night in Miami. So I've never even really heard of any of the, I know Bo Burnham, I know Pink, obviously, I know the Aretha Franklin show, but other than that,
the only one I've seen is WandaVision.
How is the Judas one up for an Emmy?
Isn't it a TV series?
No,
it's a movie on HBO.
Yeah.
How?
Maybe it came out in theaters. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, it did.
Yeah. I mean, it was on the theaters, so it doesn't make any sense.
Weird. I don't know.
But because it streams at the same time, are they qualifying it as a
maybe
TV thing? Because I mean, the Emmys are TV. Am I wrong there? I mean, the Emmys are TV stuff, right?
Emmys are TV. Yeah.
Maybe,
I don't know. We'll have to.
Maybe if you do a release, then you get
go to theater
qualified. But yeah, my daughter and her boyfriend went and saw it. So that's interesting. Okay,
we'll have to figure that out.
All right.
Last on the rundown is we have a trailer rundown for a couple movies. One is just an excuse for me to talk about John Krasinski, the first, which is DC League of Super Pets. So this is an animated movie showing the dog. What's his name? Is it Crypto? Yeah, Crypto.
Not Crypto, to be mistaken with a currency. So.
Right, yeah. Nope. This is not about Bitcoin.
Don't go buy Bitcoin. I mean, you can if you want. It's not financial advice.
Yeah. To the moon.
That was right? So you sink all your money in it. Go ahead, people.
the movie DC League of Super Pets, it stars John Krasinski as Clark Kent. Now, it's not about Clark Kent. It's about his dog, Crypto, who's voiced by Dwayne Johnson. DJ, good old DJ. And so
my buddy,
he has to form a league of super pets. And one of the most notable names that voice actors that shows up is his little brother, his little buddy, Kevin Hart, as a, I forget his name, but he's like an indestructible dog. that scene where he's the shield. They jump off. That was another part I literally laughed out loud on. So I'll start with Morgan. I haven't started with Morgan on DC League of Super Pets trailer. Morgan, what do you think?
I appreciate you starting with me. It's one of those trailers where I actually laughed the whole time while watching it. I'm looking forward to it. Like, just some of those scenes are great, especially those pets that are just your average pet in a shelter get superpowers somehow from some mysterious rock or whatever we don't really know. So it's just fun watching them use their powers and what they're going to be doing. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be good. And of course, I mean, John Krasinski, I'll support him in anything. And pretty much same with DJ and Kevin Hart, right? Yeah. It's a great cast, and there's quite a few people in there. I'm just looking at the list now. Apparently Keanu Reeves is in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kate McKinnon. I mean, there's a lot of people in it. Vanessa Bayer, some SNL people. It'll be good. It'll be good.
Nice. Eric?
I laughed my butt off when we were watching it too. I watched it with the kids and everything. So it looked really, really good. We don't watch a lot of like live television in the house very much anymore. And so we don't really see a lot of ads, but we had some, over Thanksgiving, we watched the Macy's parade and we had some other stuff going on. And so that trailer came on, the commercial for that came on, and we were like, oh my gosh, this looks awesome. So we're all pretty excited. So Amin and Jack will definitely want to go see it. So we'll take them and that'll be a good time. So, but I love all those voice actors. So that's pretty good too. Krasinski and DJ, my buddy, and Kevin Hart, the two of them, his little brother, DJ and his little brother, Kevin Hart, they do a great job, working with each other. So
they play off each other well.
They do
amazing chemistry.
Yeah, for sure. So, I don't want to hammer on DC too much, but, I think they're going to have some success with this. And, with the lighter side of Shazam, I think they continue to have success there. They may want to think about lightening up just a smidge, just don't be quite as dark, as you've been, but they're not going to. I mean, they're doubling down with the Batman. I think that's, the darker we go, the more people are going to love it. It's like, okay, well, it's your funeral, but but I think they'll have a lot of success with it, and it's a neat little twist on superhero stuff. So yeah,
it is. Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
I don't know that there's a lot left to say. I mean, it was hilarious. I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch it without my kids. I'm also gonna watch it with my kids. Cast is I mean, it's about as good as it gets. So I have not been a very big fan of the DC superhero movies, but this does look totally different. I'm in. So
well, it falls into that whole DC seems to be better with their cartoons and animated stuff. They do well there. It's just when they try to do the live action, it seems to crap out.
Yeah, like the Teen Titans stuff is pretty amazing. I like all that stuff. They should lighten up. I'm with Eric.
Yeah, their animated movies have always been far superior to Marvel. So I don't know. I'm definitely in for this movie though. And the next movie I'm definitely in for, it's called Dog. It's not called Dog the movie. It's just Dog. It stars Channing Tatum as a ex-special forces guy. No, it's not.
No, Morgan.
Oh, you're saying
was
no,
like Dog the Bounty Hunter, and I'm shaking my head vehemently. No, it is.
I'm like, did I watch a different trailer?
Yeah, you're completely wrong.
Yeah. Anyway, so Channing Tatum is ex-special forces, takes on ownership of a friend of his, or an ex special forces buddy of his who dies, who had a dog with him, obviously a special forces dog, and it's that classic man and dog story of man and dog don't get along. A man doesn't understand dog, and then somebody comes along and shows the man that the dog has a softer side and is lovable. So even with that kind of cliche of a story, I still think it looked great. It's definitely gonna, keep the lotion away from you during that at any point, because you're definitely going to get lotion in your eyes and shed some tears. But what do you think, Morgan, of Dog?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not my type of movie. I mean, we all know the plot, what's going to happen. Dog's a pain in my ass.
Yeah.
I learned the dog. I love the dog. Dog's probably going to die. All right. That's how it's going to go.
Oh, it's going to go that
sad. Oh, it's gonna. We know it. That's where it's got to get you in the feels. There's no way they're not going to go that route. I don't know. The last style movie like this that I watched was that Willem Dafoe one on Disney Plus. Did anyone see that? I forget what it's called. It's about we know Balto. Everyone remembers Balto. But this is about but this one's about the dog that actually did like.
Was it Willem Dafoe or Harrison Ford?
No, Willem Dafoe, not the Harrison Ford one.
Okay.
I recommend watching it. It's a really good movie, and it's on Disney Plus, so it's not you got to pay any extra for it. But it's just that I don't know. I'll end up watching it because it's Channing Tatum, and I got to give my wife a movie every once in a while that she wants to see.
All right, so Jason.
First off, I was just sitting here waiting to find out what you were talking about with the lotion. So I was like, what is he talking about? Keep the lotion away. It's a Channing Tatum.
It's not that kind of lotion.
Yeah, we use lotions differently here on the
right. That's keyword lotion and tissues. So that's
yeah. I don't know. I don't think that I have any desire to see this movie at all.
That's fair. I like it.
We love that kind of view on here.
And no, it just genuinely looks like I'm going to be bored. And I mean, like the trailer, and it shows the dog ripping up his truck, and I wanted to kill the dog for doing that. I never would. I love my dog, right? But yeah, no, not for me. I'm out.
Yeah, I get it. All right, Eric. Here's your chance.
I don't have any dynamite. I got no dynamite dropping or anything on this one. It looks like a tearjerker. I mean, that's really what it's going to be. Channing Tatum's a wounded guy. He's looking for a way back, and the dog's going to be not just. The dog's going to heal him as much as he heals the dog, and blah, 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 all that stuff. So that seems kind of cliche, I guess, or whatever. But you know what? It works. People love it. They'll go see it. They'll cry at it and everything. So I don't know. That's pretty much my take on it. I'll probably end up watching it here at the house. The wife will be like, "Oh, we should watch that," because she loves our dog, and like I hate our dog. Like he's such an a-hole, almost a year old, and
still a puppy.
Yeah. Maybe in a couple of years, he and I will be like best friends, probably. But right now, I can't stand it. Like I just look at him and I'm like, I just want to punch you in the face. I don't, but I want to.
We don't condone dog violence.
Just so the world knows, you too.
No, it's just emotions. That's what you feel.
Well, yeah. I worked so hard on my yard, and now my yard just looks like a disaster. He's eating shrub in the backyard. He's eating 2 power cords. He's eaten just all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, and my wife's like, I worry about getting him electrocuted. I'm like, I'm not that lucky. I'm not that lucky. Okay? That would never happen. So
I'm with you. I feel the same way. My dog likes to eat furniture, wood furniture.
Yeah.
And he's a Great Dane, so he's tall enough to get to just about.
I thought.
Oh wow!
I've seen him walk around behind you a couple times so far. I'm like,
he's a
beast of a dog that just walked by. Either you're like sitting on the ground, feng shui style, or that dog is tall.
Now you can tell how big the TV is. Think of how little the dog looked as he walked by that TV.
Yeah, his like butt, his like the back. He like was at the bottom of the TV when he was walking by.
All right, now
anyway,
before I forget, look, this is. Can you see this? That's one.
Okay, yeah.
It's Togo. That's the movie.
Togo. Okay.
Watch it. You'll like it.
Go watch Togo.
Wounded guy. Dog heals him. Blah blah blah.
No, he's not a wounded guy. He's actually just an ass in this.
But so he's wounded.
The dog does make him better.
Relatively speaking, he's wounded.
And then they both freeze to death at the end. Is that
holding each other?
Yeah.
Tauntaun situation happens.
How can I secretly kill my dog? Is what Eric said.
Literally from outside.
I had that conversation the other day. I had that conversation.
You can't do that. All right, let's move to the nerd box and answer a question from a buddy of Morgan's by the name of Colby Zell. Thank you, Colby, for sending in a really great question here. He says, would it be better or worse? Would it be better or worse for the Tom Holland Spider franchise for that Peter Parker to no longer use Stark suits and be more of a comic faithful young Spider-Man? I think there's a lot of nuance in this question. Couple things. One, I think he's the most faithful Peter Parker and Spider-Man we've gotten. Now, the Stark suits are a completely different thing. We've gotten a Spider-Man that's joined the MCU, not from the beginning, but almost 10 years later. And that MCU is really built by Tony Stark. And so for that that Peter Parker to be inspired by Tony Stark makes perfect sense. And for him to be kind of the protege of Tony Stark, I think really works well within this universe. For him to, I think when he's saying to be a more comic faithful young Spider-Man is to build his own suit, which is just basically here's some spandex and putting some Spidey logo on it. I think, because it's not like Tony Stark created his web shooters. He created that on his own. So there's some nuance in there that you got to say, what do you mean by comic faithful? Is it just basically building his own suit, which is just him putting on some spandex? Sure. Fine. We can have that, hopefully. But we've already gotten this different Peter Parker who is in the Tony Stark world. And I think that works well within this universe. What do you think, Morg? This is your buddy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough question. I think I would think he's going more with, and this is just, I don't know. He didn't tell me. Not so much.
Give you the answer?
Yeah, not so much of he just makes his own suit cool and now he's comic faithful. But I mean, more of that struggle of showing him working with his suit, doing things to it. Because once he's introduced, we see that original homemade suit that he has for like a second, and then he immediately has Stark tech, which is I'm going to say, obviously, a huge advantage when crime fighting is having Stark technology. And so much that in the first Spider-Man movie, he takes it away from him as a punishment, and he's got to go to the old school. So you don't really see that. I don't know. Having Stark tech just gives you a big advantage. So I think to get more of that struggle that Peter Parker normally has, I could see that. It'd be nice for him to just have his regular suit with his own web shooters that he made, because now he has Stark web shooters that can do whatever he needs it to do by telling it what to do. And, so I wouldn't mind seeing that, but I think at this point it's too far gone. It wouldn't really make sense for them to go back. and be like, well, I mean, what would he do? Throw out his Iron Spider suit? And, I think it just wouldn't make sense at this point.
That's a good point. Eric?
Yeah, I tend to agree with you guys. I think it's almost impossible to decouple him from Stark at this point. They're it's kind of the level of mystique, but I mean, it could be possible at the end of it where he maybe at the end of this movie here where he kind of, you could maybe do it where the Stark tech actually makes him more of a target than it would be, so it would be a way for him to kind of simplify and go back to being more of a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, versus an MCU, a leader in the Avengers, that type of thing, or whatever. So not that he is, but I mean, so I don't know, I like you said earlier, Darren, this is an MCU universe that's driven by Tony Stark. And so I think I tend to agree with you there. That Stark tech is kind of ingrained in what he is, and the mythos of who Peter Parker is linked, really tightly with Tony Stark. So, so I don't know that they could do it, but yeah. Jason, how about you, buddy?
I think I would rather him go back to a basic suit, but I also agree. I just don't think that it's going to happen. Not with this, I mean, I think as we've seen before, that this Spider-Man will end and there'll be another one after this. And I hope that one gets to go back to the Peter Parker and the Spider-Man that we're more used to. The one I grew up, reading about in comics and watching on every Saturday morning. But I mean, at the same time, this one is already here, and that's does some pretty cool stuff. I mean, it's pretty epic to watch, but what the Stark suits do. So I don't know. Overall, I don't have a problem with it, but they're not taking it away from Tom Holland. I don't think.
If you think about, he hasn't in his own movies, his Stark technology hasn't saved the day. In Homecoming, he had to go back to his homemade suit, to defeat Vulture. If you think about his final battle against Mysterio, he had to rely on his spider senses to win, and nothing that about the Stark technology of that.
Are you referring to his Peter Tingle? Peter Tingle. Your Aunt May told me about your Peter Tingle. So.
Peter Tingle.
I think that was so brilliant.
Tom Holland's face.
Peter Tingle.
When they start it's like he's got that, the way it looks on his face is so classic,
Yeah.
They're talking about the Peter Tingle. He's like, I told you, please don't call it that.
I guess can talk about my Peter Tingle all she wants. I
will say, to build on that, like I guess technically this technology has not really saved the day, but
except for
the Iron Spider suit really came in handy while fighting Thanos, and having the extra legs and the insta kill when it and all that. Whereas if he was just his own suit that he made, I mean, I don't know.
Totally,
he wouldn't have survived just the flight into space.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's in his own movies. I appreciate that they've gone away from using the Stark technology to save the day. I mean, it really hasn't been made that much of a difference in what he does. I mean, sure, he made his own suit in Tony's plane in
right.
Far From Home, but what of Stark stuff does he use to win in the end? Nothing. So I think it's one of those online things that people rage about. It's like, oh, he's just Stark Jr. or he's Tony's boy. He's not the real Spider-Man. And I feel like that's just it's a nuanced conversation, first of all, but it's something that is, I think, blown way out of proportion. So
I don't always understand why people get so upset about getting away from, like adding something new to the story. You know what I mean? Like I cannot understand why people want it to be exactly the way that it always has been forever and ever.
Yeah.
Instead of realizing
boring.
Yeah. Instead of realizing like
absolutely
like exciting new things need to be introduced into these characters
right.
in order to continue making movies and cartoons about them for the next 20 years.
I think that being comic faithful is it's a nuanced, to use my favorite word so far today, nuanced term. I like when things are comic faithful, but I like it when it also adds to the story. So if it has a little bit of comic faithfulness to it, great. And then, change it up because I've already seen that version. I don't need to see it again. Let's be respectful of the source material, but let's make something new. So great question, Colby. Again, that kind of harkens back to our Spider-Man episode last week. And so I like that. And again, thanks, Brett, for joining that. Thank you, Jason, for joining the Rundown. Looking forward to playing this game with you guys on the NRD Rundown Presents coming up next. So we'll wrap up here and move on to that. But love having you on, Jason, back by my popular demand.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad you wanted me back. Thanks, Darren.
We'll definitely need to have you back as much as possible. So with that being said, thank you guys. Morgan, Eric, thank you for your insights. Jason as well. We'll see you guys next week on the NRD Rundown.
See ya.
See ya.